Hello, friends. Thanks for tuning into this week's marketing message. This is almost like a blend between a marketing message and brain food, but I think you guys are going to understand the concept very quickly. The title of this is Focusing on Measurement over Usage Can Ruin Your Social Media Efforts at Your Company. And I've seen this so many times over the years. Marketing teams like to make sure that we're proving the value of the efforts that we're putting out there. So I'm not saying measurement doesn't have a place. For sure it does. It's incredibly important. But the usage is more important because if you think about it, right? Social media became popular because it started to move people. It started to influence. You saw advertising budgets switching away from TV spots and radio spots to advertising on social media platforms because more eyeballs were there, more engaged eyeballs were there. So what I'd like to talk about is just the idea of think about your company and ask, or even take a look, right? Because you can go look at your different profiles of the people that work for your organization. How active are they on the social media channels? For me, I care mostly about LinkedIn. Most of the companies that I work with are B2B companies, and they are selling products and services to other companies. So they're not selling widgets or specific things to the consumer. They're selling to other businesses. And that being the case, the most valuable real estate for those stories and the social media efforts would be the blog on their website and LinkedIn. And so what I see is I've seen plenty of situations where companies have spent tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing budgets. And a full service marketing company comes in and does a great job with creative and interviewing people and all of this stuff and does wonderful metrics every month on the status of the growth of the different social channels and all of these things. So it's amazing, right? But then the reality is you talk to the owner or the people on the sales team and you realize they're actually really not engaged in social media very much. It's the marketing company that's doing a lot of the stuff. And the disconnect there for me is the conversion, right? The conversion of the relationship, the trusted relationship over time, and then that key moment happens where a buying decision needs to be made, and they remember you because of the relationship you've built with them through social media and in person, and that's the buying opportunity for you. And so outsourcing, in my opinion, can be a challenge if you're not focusing on getting your people engaged in the usage of these social media tools. So for sure, internal training and things like that and showing best practices so they understand how to use the tools. And sure, that's what I do for one of the things I do for a living, but this isn't even a plug for Blue Gurus. You could do this within your own organizations of just making sure people understand how to use LinkedIn on a basic level. There's a million YouTube videos out there on how to use LinkedIn. Sure, I do formal training on that stuff for companies all the time. But just take a look at what people are doing. You can gauge very quickly how engaged your staff is on LinkedIn and in social media. And you can even poll them. Just talk to your people, your sales team. How often are you logging into LinkedIn every week? And if they're involved in sales, it'd be shocking if it's every couple of weeks kind of thing. And I see that still here in 2023. I still ask that question, and I still talk to people that are 100% commission-based. And sure, they have a book of business and they've been around for 40 years in the city and they know everybody and all that kind of stuff. So they're still hitting their numbers. But my point is that a lot of these people could accelerate that and get bigger numbers and more influence in a more easier effort, so they don't have to show up as many coffees, lunches, and chamber events. If they just use social media a little bit more to get the word out, their brand, their personal brand, and the stories that they're telling, so that people remember them when that buying opportunity happens. So the simple message here is the idea of be careful about measurement and making that such a high priority that you lose sight of the fact that your people need to be using social media. They need to be in the tools, whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter or whatever your company has decided is important for your brand and your organization. Make sure that there are people that are very active on these tools. And if they're not, sure, you can spend a lot of money on marketing and measurement and get these great reports and everything looks perfect and the graphics are awesome and the stories are decent. But there's just something that happens, and I've seen this time and time again with my clients, when they're at the table and they're coming up with the content, and they're the ones in the street selling and delivering products and services, and they are engaged in the storytelling, it has incredible value over whatever the measurement is. Again, I'm not saying measurement doesn't have a wonderful place in all this. It's important, sure. You want to see if you're getting traffic on your website going up over time, or the followers on LinkedIn and connections on LinkedIn going up over time. Sure, you can look at all of that stuff. Just don't lose sight of how important it is that your people are using these tools on a regular basis. And that was the marketing tip for this week. Take stock in your company and see what's going on. Make sure that your people are using these tools. I'll talk to you next week.